Okay, so I'm going to skip some parts because they would be similar to the lesson that I just did. But again, just going over, this is a standard that we're digging into for this week. Can someone really, from amongst the audience, please read out the standard for us?
Cite strong and thorough textual evidence to support the analysis explicitly, as well as inferences.
Start thinking about what that means, right? Like, what are the trends that you've seen in the last couple of weeks? And start making some connections. Can I have somebody read learning target? What's our learning target? What are we going to accomplish for today?
I will analyze Abraham Lincoln's words in the Gettysburg Address and determine multiple pieces of textual evidence that strongly and thoroughly support both explicit and inferential questions.
What does that make you think about what it is that you're going to actually accomplish today? What does that actually make you think? So words like finding pieces of evidence, textual evidence, thoroughly supporting your evidence. Start thinking about what that might look like in action. And then finally, we're going to dig into our daily end product, and we're going to analyze the assertions that Abraham Lincoln is making in this particular speech. Okay? But before we dig in, before we like super dig in, here's something that I like to do. In this class, here's what we do. We read everything against the grain. You may have heard some stories about Abraham Lincoln. You may have heard some stories about the Gettysburg Address. That's awesome. I want you to bring that. But I also want you to say, is this what I believe or is this what I've been told? In this class, we gather multiple perspectives. In this class, we go against the popular stories. Or we might go with the popular stories if we believe it right. So here's what we're going to do. Turn to the handout that you have in front of you. It says Warm Up Lesson 2 plus text. And you're going to get to hear some perspectives on Abraham Lincoln before you even read what he wrote. Okay? And then you're going to have a set of questions that I'm going to want you to answer in just a little bit. But for now, just take 2 minutes to read all of these perspectives on Abraham Lincoln's, and I'm going to tell you what to do with it. So I know some of you might still be reading, but here's what I'd like you to do. What are you thinking right now about Abraham Lincoln as the author of the text that you're going to read? What might he be like? And what might be his motivation for writing this speech? Those are some ideas that I want you to think about, but also think like, how are you reacting? What are your reactions to this? So you can can jot in your journals or you can jot directly into the worksheet. So you're gonna have 2 minutes, and then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna come back and discuss. Yes.
Should we use what we know about Lincoln in the stuff we got as well, or just what we picked up on the internet reports?
Whichever
You
one.
want, okay.
Mhm. So you're gonna take those 2 full minutes, and then I'm gonna give you some quick guidance. So we're gonna get to engage in the discussion just a little bit right now. Just wanna make sure you guys put your thoughts out there. Everything that's coming across on paper doesn't even have to be complete sentences. However it's coming up, just put it out there. Words, phrases, whatever's coming to mind. All right, 30 more seconds, wrap up your final thoughts, and then we're gonna get to discuss with a partner, okay? All right, some quick directions. Here's what's gonna happen. You're gonna chat with partner A. You're gonna have partner A, partner B. Each person is gonna have 1 minute to talk. Okay? Decide who's gonna be partner A right now. So turn to the person next to you. Decide partner A, partner B. Awesome. All right, partner A is gonna have 1 minute to talk. Then partner B is gonna have 1 minute to talk. Okay? Then we're gonna come back and we're going to discuss whole group. Okay? All together. Ready, set, go ahead, partner A. All right, get ready to switch. Partner B, get ready to talk. And go, partner B.
Okay,
That's just like create the idea of civil rights.
yeah.
And add it
It's more of like, radicals don't really participate. They just don't. So like, but like, yeah.
No,
And then also, I think like,
very like civil rights.
Maybe that's gonna try
We're gonna have 4 minutes to just share and dig into this just a little bit. No, 4 minutes is not nearly enough. We might have to cut it short, but bring it out. I heard some crazy awesome things. So, kick us off,
He
Willie.
said that, like, Lincoln was probably a man with conflicted interest. Like, it's obvious that he was a man with conflicted interest. Like, he, on one hand, like, did see slavery as some sort of issue, but, like, he wasn't advocating for, like, emancipation of the slaves, like, all the way. Like, he also believed that, like, a house divided, like, could not stand. So, like, whether, like, or not slavery was a thing that was going to remain, like, America couldn't like continue to be the country that it was if we kept slavery. So either we pick one or we pick the other. Like, we're all slave or we're not all slave, like, we're all free. So, like, whether or not, like, we're moralizing history or not, like, that might be another issue because, like, we weren't there to see, like, how Abraham Lincoln, like, what his inner thoughts were. But the fact is that, like, in the end, like, slaves were free, and, like, we need to look at, like, how that affected society today and how that affects society today. And not, like, did Abraham Lincoln do it out of personal glory?
Yeah, like the motivation why he did it, like it might not have been this like egalitarian idea that all men are created equal, but does it really matter if he just did it like the outcome is the same? Does his like motivation really matter in the end? Like sure, he's like painted as this great guy and he might not have been all that, but like in the end, like yeah.
So what I see coming up from Willie and Esther is they're talking about Abraham Lincoln as this pretty complex guy. And Willie brought up this idea of like being moralized
Like,
in history. Can you just
Yeah,
share
like,
a little bit more about
it's
that?
not like our job at this point. Like, I mean, like, whether or not he did it like out of personal conviction or because he felt that it was like the right thing to do. Like, at this point, like, that's not really our job. Our job is to like look at the fact that he did free the slaves. Not like he like.
A lot of times, like he did.
So I'm gonna pause there. Pause for a second. I noticed some disagreement from this side of the room. Would you like to disagree with what Willie has said?
Like I agree with some points. He was a man of morals, but at the same time, when I think about it, I knew that slavery was based on agriculture. And that's where they made the money. And America was moving from that agricultural system to an industrialized system. And Lincoln knew that he had people to please in the North. So I feel like that was also a motivating factor of during the slave helping the slaves.
He set up the framework, I guess. So, like, through the Emancipation Proclamation, like he said, slaves south of this line, like, are free. So yes, like slaves that were north of that line, but like, and then there was like legal, like Congress went in and like did the 14th Amendment, blah 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 blah. So like yes, that is, but he did set up like the framework to begin that process.
I want to hear some thoughts. Are there any like anybody want to add to the points that have been made? Disagree? Continue to disagree with Willie?
Yeah, I mean, no offense to Willie, like I think that I just think Lincoln was like a politician who was very self-interested.
Yeah.
Not that he like freed slaves or anything like that. Like some good things happened under his watch, but not because he was this guy who felt so obliged. I think we are obligated to tell that part of the story.
Yeah, and I'm not arguing. I'm saying the exact same thing you're saying. So we're not saying that like he was a good person. We're saying that he like we're not moralizing him as good or bad. He just did it
I
because
think a lot of times in history
he
we
has to,
think of people as really great or like really evil, and it's just like not like it's not like a good way to think about it because everything is really complex.
I noticed you guys are being some like overarching ideas, but I'm really curious about like we're coming in guns blazing with a lot of ideas. Where did you pull that from as you were reading? First, remind me your name? Nakira. So Nakira, kick us off and then go.
I was just gonna say, like, the point that I brought when you said freed slaves, that's what, when I was in school, that's what I was taught. Like, okay, Abraham, you know, he freed us, like, he's cool. You know, but then I go to college and it's like, well, not necessarily. Like, this, and this, and this. And I was like, that's just something that I want to instill in my students. So.
Thank you so much. Lee, do you want to respond to that?
Well, I would just kind of like, and again, like, a lot of this supports that. Like, they're saying, like, the complicated truth, for long way to be the great emancipator, and it was kind of talking about how history kind of plays things over. And, like, I specifically made the connection, and I was telling Allie, to Harper Lee's new book, and how, like, people are freaked out, because, like, in the new, I mean, she wrote that. Yeah, Atticus Finch is a segregationist in